Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Welcome to M1 Racing. Mark here as always. I have Pete with me, recovering from quite a cold, I think it will sound like. You don't get to hear him, but he is with us and he's going to be in my ear as we get into racing. And I'm also delighted to say that we have the full commentary team back with us this week. Firstly, Rio, welcome back after quite a long absence. Some technical issues in the process, but very good to have you back. Have you been able to keep up with GeForce Racing League, or do you need some educating on what you've missed?
I would probably need some educating because even though it's been a while, I haven't really been keeping up to date with things.
We will do just that in just a moment. And we've also got Toby back with us as well after a week or two's break. Toby, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, just recovering, but yeah.
Well, hopefully the next hour and a half or so will keep us wide awake. As Rio was saying, we've got some catching up to do. Firstly, let's remind ourselves of the end of the last round in Texas, where M1 Righty came home to win their only second victory of the season so far. MACT finished in second, keeping up their strong performances at the Circuit of the Americas. But their teammate SS7 coming in third, so Mercedes having a very good day last week, even though they didn't get the win. Ghosty, M1 Righty's teammate, came in fourth. Decevest with one of their best finishes of the season in fifth. Then Emelecki, their teammate, in sixth. I don't know how many times Decevest has come ahead of Emelecki, but that was a very strong drive from Decevest last week. Not such a great week for the Ferrari, 7th and 8th for them. M. Dorling followed by Ovo, and then Spicy and Lost. We had the McLaren boys back, which is a real delight to have them back with us, but they struggled, and Spicy in particular on that first lap, losing their car around about lap 2. So we'll see if the McLarens are back with us this week. Potential maybe from Spicy. I don't think we are going to get lost, but we'll see if they turn up. What has that done to the drivers' standings? I am rushing a little bit, folks, because we have a sprint race here coming up in Great Britain. So we are going to go straight into qualifying in about 5 minutes' time. So M1 Righty leads the way, a Season 2 champion on 92 points. They are the driver to beat. MACT is there in second, and a really strong performance from MACT so far this season. SS7, their teammate, is in third in the championship, and Ghosty, who joined the league just at the end of Season 2, now with us all the way through Season 3 so far. Very strong teammate to M1 Righty, and you can see Rio, it's come to you on this. We've got a strong battle between Alpine and Mercedes. M1 Righty is showing their class week on week, but they did miss one race, and that's giving the opportunity to MACT and SS7, but Ghosty as well. Cast your mind back, Rio, to those earlier races. Did you predict that M1 Righty would be leading the championship at the halfway point?
I think
Mark,
so.
make yourself a spectator in game.
I think so. Yeah, no, to be honest, I'm pretty sure I did predict him being in the lead, but I think I predict him being at the halfway point of the season.
It's much closer, though, than I anticipated being, and if it weren't for some issues for Charlie Ark, I think there may be 4 or 5 drivers fighting it out, but we are only at the halfway mark. We won't count Charlie out yet, and M. Dorling getting their first victory ever with GeForce Racing earlier on this season, so they can't be counted out either. And if we get Roadrunner back at some point, they really mixed it up. Oh, Roadrunner is with us this week. I've just seen in the lobby, bottom right corner of your screen, folks. So that's going to make things interesting this week as well, especially with no Charlie, it would seem, either. So watch out for Roadrunner. Let's take a look at the constructors' standings. We'll spend maybe, if we've got enough time at the end of today's race, we might come back to these. Mercedes leads the way on 147 points, but oh so close with the Alpines on 145. Then a big gap back to Ferrari, but they're being challenged by Williams, and we can see Red Bull coming up on the rails. Also, I'll go back to the driver lineups as well, because we've had a couple of switches around. So Charlie is now joined by Roadrunner on the Red Bull team. Mr. Han is taking a step back for racing for a little while, and we wish Mr. Hannes all the very best in their latest recovery from a knee injury. It sounded pretty horrifying. So we hope to have Mr. Hannes back with us racing when we go with F1 24. But Roadrunner has stepped into their shoes and will partner Charlie Ark to the end of the season. No change at Ferrari, no change at that strong team in Mercedes or at the Alpines. Spicy and Lost still together with McLaren. We have seats available with Alfa Romeo. Diaz and F1 Lewis are now free to race after serving their penalties from the last race. They may be back with us at some point in the not too distant future. NRG is still looking for a teammate at AlphaTauri, as is Nico Hulkenberg at Haas, but Desaves and Emeleki the other teams look out for. And folks, I'd encourage you to go and watch the races from recent weeks. Even though we don't have a full grid week on week, I can guarantee you that the racing is fantastic. And last week I classified it as probably the best race we've had for a very long while. It was just quality driving from all of our folks out, and there were just 10 drivers out, but they gave such a great performance, wheel to wheel, very close driving. It was proper top quality racing, and we're hoping for the same here today at Silverstone. Toby, can you cast your mind back to season 2? I don't know if you remember this. Let me test your memory. Do you remember who won in Silverstone in season 2?
Oh, FHS?
Almost, but not quite. Right team. Rio, give you the shot. Who won in Silverstone last time out?
Was it SS7? No.
Wow, okay guys, it was M1 Righty. It was M1 Righty. So, and that's why I said Toby was close. Their teammate, SHS Predestinato as it was, well done David T in the chat, has got it as well. SHS Predestinato came in third. Lost came in second. Oh yeah, David's given us all the results now. Lost came in second, and that was probably their best performance of last season. Doesn't look as though Lost is going to be with us, but they really gave SHS Predestinato a run for their money. Also pretty close with M1 Righty, but also SS7 was a very, very close fourth. We won't count them out. And just a reminder, I went back and watched the stream from season 2. Mac T had a disaster with connectivity issues, as did Spicy. So if Mac T is with us, they are with us this week, we won't count out Mac T. And so Rio, you've seen the standings as they are at this point in time. Let me bring those back up.
Mm-hmm.
That was Texas driver standings. Yeah, so second half of the season. Is M1 going to hold on to that lead to the end of the season, or do we see Mac T, SS7, or one of the other drivers stealing the top step when we come to the final race?
I think M1 is going to continue his lead because, like you said before, he hasn't missed a race. I don't know if he might have missed one, but yeah, I think he's going to continue his lead and just win it all between now and the last race. So I'm thinking maybe second to last race.
It's going to be tight at the top. Toby, who do you think is going to win it from here? Can M1 hold on?
M1 could definitely hold on. It could be, like you said, if it's anything like last race, even though I've missed it and I've just heard from you guys and watched part of the stream, it will definitely be very close. Anyone in the top 5 or the whole team or the whole grid right now, the top 9, could win.
So I'm going to ask you for your predictions for this race around Silverstone, and then we'll see. I'll ask you again at the end of qualifying, which is going to come up in just a few moments. It looks like we're readying up now. So I'll tell you what, folks, I'm going to ask the guys that question when we get to the other side of our intro. So stay right there. We'll see you the other side of this, where we'll be in the sun or the rain in Great Britain at the set track in Silverstone. Stay right there, folks. Back with you very shortly after this. Well, we've got 3 cars wide. And Mac T's trying to get down the inside of M. Dorling. They're going to do it. Great switch back from him, one there. All right, folks, let's go racing. All right, welcome back, folks. We are just waiting for the game to load in to qualifying. Remember, it's a sprint race today, followed by the feature race, so our qualifying is going to set the grid for the start of the sprint race, and the result of the sprint will set the grid for the feature race. And so we'll be going out on track with our drivers very shortly. I was going to ask guys who they thought was going to win this, but actually I'm going to hold on that for until the end of qualifying here, and we'll see what their predictions are. We have 9 drivers out with us today. Obo, Sam Ross. We've got Sam Ross. Nico Hulkenberg, as you saw in the driver lineup, is back with us this week. So good to have Sam with us this time around. It's been a while since we've seen them. Both the Williams, the Deceves and Emelecki. M1 Righty is here, but they don't have their teammate Ghosty with them. So a real opportunity for Mercedes to steal a bit of a march in the Constructors' Championship with both drivers out. M. Dorling is there supporting their teammate of Obo, and Roadrunner is the sole Red Bull with us this week. Don't be worried about the lack of drivers though, folks. I guarantee you this lot will be very, very close together. You drop that music. And as Pete's just mentioned in my ear, it's looking rather overcast at the Silverstone track here. And if we get down to M1 Righty, who's heading out on the track. Rio, do you think it's likely to rain today? It didn't rain last time we were here in Silverstone, but perhaps we will do today. What do you reckon?
I think it might rain because, it's there's no chance of it not raining at Silverstone. But yeah, I think there's a pretty high chance because there's already clouds in the sky I can see. So we might get it in maybe somewhere in the race, I think.
So as David T said in the chat, he's ever so observant, David T. And I've got to say, David T, thank you for resubbing for another 3 months. It's just absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. It means an awful lot to all of us here at M1 Racing. But yeah, if M1's out, David is telling us, there's likely to be some rain coming. So M1 very rarely actually gets out on qualification early on in the race. So early on in qualifying. So they are looking to set a time. And so, Toby, do you think M1 knows something that nobody else does?
Give me a sec. Could you repeat the question before that?
So we know M1 is out early. Do you think they know something about the weather that they want to get this lap in really early?
Maybe, or just they want to get a banker in, and also just like to say, Mark, you're not muted on Discord.
No, Mark.
So we are. Thanks, Toby. I don't think I do mute myself in Discord, otherwise you wouldn't hear me.
No, Pete. Sorry, Pete.
Right,
I always get you two mixed up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm the mouthy one. I'm the one who does all the talking.
Yeah, Pete.
So M1 Righty is out on their first hot lap, and if you heard Pete on the stream for the very first time, folks, that is a first. We've never heard him live, so maybe we've caught a bit of the infamous Pete live on the Twitch stream and he didn't even know it. So M1 is out on their first hot lap. They're just coming down the National Pit Straight now, so through Woodcote here, heading down towards Copse. We'll see a lot of drivers run out wide beyond the edge of track limits, and that's where we will see them likely pick up some 3-second penalties when we get into the race, and some invalidated qualifying times for sure. We still get the 18 minutes for qualifying. David T did hear the elusive Pete on the Twitch stream. So Pete, your voice has been heard, but with your dreadful cold. So maybe not a true reflection of who you are. Maybe we'll try that again. Here we go. So M1 is coming round to finish their lap and sets a 125.546. That's going to be the time to beat. We are going to have a number of drivers now coming over to set their very first times. This is Obo coming down the national pit straight here. Obo out qualifying M. Dorling, I think for one of the first or second time ever. They've been teammates for a very long while, but M. Dorling out qualifying Obo last week Obo out qualifying M. Dorling last week in Texas. Wonder if they will do the same again. And Rio, what you will have missed is that the Ferraris have tended to struggle in the first half of the season. We saw how well they were going in season 2, towards the end of that for sure. But Ferrari really struggling, so I know they'll be hoping for a better result, which is round what will be their home track. So both Obo and M. Dorling, both from the UK. So they'll be looking to do well here. Obo setting a time of 126.05, and Sam Ross has got a time of 126.786. Now, Rio, we haven't done this with you for a long while, and I am putting you a little bit on the spot, but would you fancy doing a hot lap with one of our drivers as we go round Silverstone? You can say no.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure because I don't have a thing ready, but yeah, probably not.
No, don't worry. Let me do that for you, and we'll ride on board with M. Dorling here for their first flying lap as we go through Abbey, slightly up the hill through Farm Curve. SS7 setting the fastest lap of the race so far, 125.277. That's the target now as M. Dorling is about to come through Aintree and onto the Wellington Straight. Named after the famous bombers that used to be stationed here when Silverstone was an airfield back in the Second World War in the 1940s. Now through Brooklands, then Luffield. We've got a car in front of us which we hope was going to get out of the way for us, which it does. That's one of the Mercedes there. Coming through Woodcote now, down the old pit straight here. Through Copse, and now we're going to head up to Rio's favourite part of the circuit, Maggots and Beckett's, and then into Chapel. Here comes Chapel with Obo ahead of M. Dorling, looking to give M. Dorling a really good slipstream here. M. Dorling powering down the straight, DRS open. Second DRS zone, throwing the car into Stowe, the back end wanting to get away from the Ferrari driver there, but nicely held by M. Dorling. As we come through Vale, then through Club, one of the more expensive parts to sit around Silverstone, we cross over the line for a 125.522. M. Dorling goes into provisional third. So thank you for M. Dorling for taking us round on a flying lap of Silverstone. It's looking strong, Rio, for the Mercedes drivers right now.
Yeah, I would have expected M1 to be at the top, but yeah, no, I don't think I've seen SS7 at the top. I mean, no offense to him, but I don't think I've seen him at the top in a while.
Well, SS7, I think, has really learnt from spending half a season with their teammate Mac T, because the two of them together have been a real powerful force. It's paying off for them, and SS7 set a good qualifying last week in Texas, and they really weren't sort of struggling to hold on to the to the likes of M1 Righty and Mac T for quite some time. And David T is telling us here, M1 did not take pole here last season, but did fight back for the win. And if you remember, boys, it was last year M1 ran hards into mediums as their strategy. So I expect them to do something very similar here this time around, although the weather could well play a role, and it is still very overcast here. No high likelihood of rain during qualifying, it would seem, but maybe that is coming later. And I guess, Toby, some of these drivers may be, if they know rain is coming in the race, they could be qualifying on a wet setup, I suppose.
Possibly. Well, it's always... There's two reasons why we might get rain in this. For one, it's our league. We always get rain. And for two, it's England.
Well, never a truer word spoken, Toby, although it's been 2 races without rain so far. We didn't get rain in Texas and we didn't get rain in Abu Dhabi. Maybe we shouldn't be surprised by that, as we've got Mac T, the only driver now out on an out lap. Mac T, I say I've been incredibly impressed with Mac T this season. They've continued to build on performances from previous seasons, but they've been so consistent week on week. Have now David T's going to kill me if I get this wrong, so I'm going to check my stats before I say this. I don't think Mac T has won a race yet, but I'm going to double check on the stats, unless one of you boys here can confirm for me. No win for Mac T yet, but they have been on the podium 3 times. So what do you reckon, Rio? A win for Mac T round Silverstone in season 3?
It could be possible. I mean, there's no chance of him not getting a win, but it's very, very high, and he has gotten very, very good in performance. So he might just leave M1 in the dust and fight with the SS7.
I am not going to write them off today for absolute certainty. And if M1 doesn't have such a great qualifying, then it's going to open the door for these drivers. It looks as though Mac T is out on a older set of soft tyres here, so they'll do well to go faster. We shall see. We're going to pick out on Roadrunner. We'll keep an eye on Mac T's time, but I have got down to Roadrunner. We haven't seen Roadrunner for a couple of weeks, but it's very good to have a Red Bull out and to have Roadrunner back. They gave us some great racing in Imola, really set that race alight with what is now their teammate Charlie Ark, and they're now in the same team for Red Bull. Roadrunner really has some pace, it would seem, from the earlier races we have seen them in, and I expect them to go very well round Silverstone. So Roadrunner is setting up for their next lap, a 125.592 so far for Roadrunner. As we come over the start-finish line to start our lap, I'm going to bring up the lap data in the top right corner of our screen. Let's put the track map up as well. So Roadrunner trying to beat that 125.592, coming through sector 1, the first of the DRS zones as we head down the Wellington Straight into Brooklands. Our drivers pulling in the real world over 4.5 G, about 4 thousandths up for Roadrunner in sector 1. Good exit from Luffield and Woodcote there. We're heading down into Copse. Will Roadrunner lift? No. Completely flat for Roadrunner through Copse as we now head up to that amazing sequence of corners. Just dropping a gear into Beckett's there and into Chapel. Oh, and there we see it. Roadrunner really pushing hard, losing it on the exit. And Rio, I don't know if you were on board with Roadrunner as well. That was a that was a pretty big moment for Roadrunner there.
I got on board with him. I literally just the moment he spun, because I was watching his lap on the stream. But that looked to be set up a good lap by Roadrunner. I didn't catch what he did wrong. I think he might have oversteered and then tried to correct it, and then
Yeah, the back end just let go of them as you go through Chapel there. It'll be the exit of Beckett's there. Oh, no, and Pete's just telling me Spicy has just joined the game, so it looks as though we will make 10 drivers out on track. Spicy obviously will not be able to qualify. We're with Sam Ross as they've set a time of 126.281. Roadrunner was really pushing so hard through Maggots and Beckett's, and the back end can eventually let go if you push just that bit too much. Pete's telling me M. Dorling is going purple in sector 1, so M. Dorling picking up the pace here. And green in sector 2, so it's going well for M. Dorling on their second flying lap here in qualifying. We only get the one qualifying session here, folks, so whatever they do here is going to be where they end up on the sprint. Start line out 125.354, ever so close. Toby, M. Dorling, good qualifying time for them, and it's better than we've seen from them in previous weeks.
Yeah, definitely. Most drivers seem to be improving over what we've seen on them. So it's quite fun. Also, what might have been key to M. Dolling's time was I saw the Ferraris doing slipstreaming just coming out of Maggots and Beckett's, I believe.
And the Ferrari boys really do work very, very well together as a team, and that's paying off. I thought we'd spend a little bit of time with Desaves. David has rightly reminded us in the chat the Roadrunner actually won in Abu Dhabi, and they are quick Roadrunner. We will certainly look to them to appear on the podium at some point. So this is Desaves warming up their tyres as they come down the national pit straight, the old pit straight here at Silverstone. They still use that when we're on the Indy circuit here in the UK, particularly for the touring cars and the shorter format races, but not used now for the F1 cars, which will start on the Lewis Hamilton straight. So this is Desaves. They're looking to beat a 125.932. And as they come through Stowe here, and still no sign of rain as Desaves heads a little bit wide coming through Stowe, but that shouldn't invalidate their time for their hot lap, which is about to start in a moment. Try and set up the car as well as we can coming out of club. And off we go. So 125.932 is the time for Desaves to beat. We have 3 minutes left on the clock for qualifying here. We're at round 6 of the GeForce Racing Elite League. Only 10 rounds in Season 3 as we prepare to welcome in F1 24, and we'll be heading over to that game at the end of May. But we're going to round out what has been a pretty fantastic sequence of seasons here on F1 23 with the GeForce Racing Elite League. Desaves does look to be improving. Yeah, up about 2/10, I think, in the first, just under 2/10 in the first sector. So we come through Cops. The McLaren of Spicy is out on a track. That's brilliant news. So we have a McLaren out with us this week. Glad Spicy could make it. Oh, and Desaves gets the same problem again. Rio, they lost it on the way through Maggots and Beckett's.
I saw that. I was waiting for it to happen, to be honest, because I think he had the same issue that, well, not issue. He did the same thing as Roadrunner did. He went very, very quickly into Maggots, and then Beckett's. I think he might have turned in too hard, because that's usually what happens. But he was on a quite good lap. He was 1/10 quicker in sector 1.
Yeah, it's going very, very well for. I think that was my stream. Just lagged slightly on Emeleki there. We're looking to Desaves' teammate here, Emeleki, who hasn't yet set a time to try and get one in. Emeleki has struggled in qualifying in recent races, but has done pretty well in the races themselves. Emeleki qualifies provisional 4th, 125.419. David T was predicting that M1 wasn't going to set another qualifying time, but indeed they are out on track. So M1 is seeing the competition around them. And Toby, it doesn't look as though M1's going to get it easy here today.
Yeah, he's definitely been thinking like a stone compared to how he used to be. We've got people up there that I wouldn't expect to be on pole or in the top 2 without M1 up there. And Emil, he set the fastest middle sector, which was quite a nice surprise for me.
Yeah, Emeleki is really seems to have their car hooked up this week. We know they like low downforce, and if there's a track that likes low downforce, it's Silverstone, where everything happens very, very fast around this circuit. We're with Spicy Nuts now as we welcome Spicy into qualifying a bit last minute, but they are hopefully going to get a time in here with just 5 seconds of qualifying left to go. So Spicy can hopefully get this time registered on the board. The home Grand Prix for Spicy also. So Spicy coming around the final corners of the lap for 125.926 for Spicy. So they're provisional 8th. Let's get up to M1 Righty. We'll see how they are improving through Sector 2, if at all. So they've come through Cops there. into the sequence of Maggots and Beckett's. We'll be coming out onto the hanger straight, the second DRS zone. M1 righty is just over 1.5 tenths up. That is not going to be enough to leapfrog many of our drivers at the moment. M1 currently in provisional 5th. So M1 working hard here to improve. SS7 set a purple sector in sector 2. So SS7 getting faster. And M1 crosses the line for a 125.323. M1 will not be on the top of the grid for the start of the sprint. Mac T takes fastest lap, 125.194. And that's everyone done, it would seem. So, wow, that ended very quick. That's what can happen when we've only got 10 drivers. P2. Good spot, Toby. Thank you for that. So Roadrunner has stolen P2. There you go, folks. So we had to wait to the very last moment. Mac T takes pole position. Roadrunner takes second at the last moment. SS7 takes third, and less than 1/10 of a second separating the top three drivers. M1 righty in 4th. M. Dorling in 5th. Emma Leckie is 6th on the grid, splitting the two Ferraris there. Obo in 7th. Spicy in the chat, welcome. No practice, but it's okay. You're there in 8th, just behind Obo. Then comes Desaves for Williams. And Sam Ross back with us after quite a break. Good to have them back in 10th. So, Rio, got to ask you the prediction. You know, I know you hate me asking this every week. I'm going to ask the same of Toby. Who's going to win it?
I think M1 might. I'm going to be honest here. I think M1 will get a good launch offline, and then he's not going to give up and fight him to the top. So I think that's what's going to happen.
M1 for Rio. Toby, who's your victor going to be?
It could be SS7, showing that the pace that he's managed to put in, but we've not been seeing him up there often. It could be N1 because he's been showing consistency. It could be Roadrunner or Maxi because they've all been showing possibles. Any of the top 5, I would say, with them tooling as well.
I think you were going to list the whole grid for a moment there, Toby.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think there's a possibility of all of. Pete, who do you think's going to win? Tell me. Mac T, and Mac T is the favourite for David T as well. Certainly rooting for them. I'm hoping for a Mac T win, but at the same time, as Roadrunner briefly leaves the session, I hope they're going to be back in pretty quickly after that great qualifying time. I've got my fingers crossed for Mac T. I thought they might do it in Texas. It wasn't to be for them, but I can certainly see a Mercedes on the top step of the podium. Right, sprint race first, folks. So hold on to your hats. 5 lights are on. All right, folks, let's go racing for the sprint race here for round 6 of the GeForce Racing Elite League. Good start from Mac T. M1 righty and SS7 has gone side by side into Abbey there. M1 has come out on top. SS7 briefly losing out there. They're alongside, but have got back in front of M. Dorling. Obo and M. Dorling have been fighting out there as well. So it's all going on in the midfield as we start lap 1. Remember, these laps will be over in a flash. We only have 9 laps in the sprint race. Mac T has led us away. M1 righty onto their tail immediately. SS7 going with them. Then comes Obo, who taps the back of SS7 there as we go through Luffield. That's allowed. M. Dorling through. And I wonder if Obo may have picked up a little bit of damage there, but they misjudged that one. All those cars continuing. But it's got very tight, Rio, in these very early corners of the sprint race.
Yeah, like I said, M1 took a very good job at trying to get to the
Ferrari just span out into entry of Maggots and Beckett's.
Ooh.
That is Obo. That is Obo. So we saw Obo just disappearing in the distance, and that has put them right to the back. It's going to make this sprint race feel a little bit longer than Obo really wanted. It's sorry to cut across you there, as we've seen Spicy out on the grass there as we're heading in to Vale. So it is all happening here, folks. We haven't been able to keep up with everything, but Mac T has led the way. And Rio, Sam Ross has really benefited, starting 10th. They're now in 5th.
Sam Ross. Oh yeah, Sam Ross. I remember. I thought he was in. He did a great job to get up to into fifth, because he didn't really have that best of qualifying. But yeah, he's done a really good job.
Really has. They've just lost a place there to
M1 just
Decivest,
dive bombed.
but we're going to get up to the top. We see it's very close between Mac T and M1 Righty. We didn't see it happen, Toby, but it looks obviously a bit of a late move perhaps by M1, but it's actually not worked out for them at all, because we were going side by side into Cops here. SS7 seen an opportunity down the inside of Cops between M1 Righty with Mac T in front of them. They settle back down into this, but it's let M Dorling back into play as we ride on board with M Dorling, this group of 4 cars, now separated by nearly 2 seconds from the chasing Decivest. But now M Dorling is thinking, well, I'll get involved in this battle up the front on their home circuit. Very close battle between all these 3. And Toby, I guess they've got to make a move pretty quick. We've only got another 7 laps to go. If you want to win this, you've got to probably be quite aggressive.
Yeah, this is what the sprint race is all about. You've got to be aggressive, and Spice has just proved that, overtaking Farmer.
And so they come through with M Dorling following on behind SS7. M1 as we go on board with M1 here on the rear end of M1 Righty. We do have a yellow flag. I wonder if that is going to clear. It has gone. Okay, I'm going to bring up the track map. It is there already. It was disguised for me in M1's cockpit. So M1 will have the benefit of DRS now, and they're using that to full effect as we come into Brooklands. Manages to hold on to that, and that will have dropped Mac T behind them. Then we've got SS7 right now on the rear end of their teammate M Dorling going with them, and Decivest, Rio, has caught onto the back of this chasing pack of cars. So Decivest in with a shout of a podium possibly.
Decivest, I think, is waiting for a moment to just completely dive bomb them and just absolutely devastate everyone and get into the either second or third. I think that's what's going to happen.
Well, I told you, folks, we only need 10 drivers and we get one hell of a race, and what a sprint it's been so far. 3 laps in, M Dorling taking a look on the inside of SS7 into Stober, thinks better of it there. Decivest has really caught the front of this pack. So Decivest goes down the inside of M Dorling. As Decivest being forced on the outside. So as David said, with Mac T getting their elbows out, all of our drivers are having to do exactly the same thing. Decivest desperately trying to find a way through, buried underneath the rear wing of M Dorling in the Ferrari. Decivest needs to be careful. So very close behind that driver. Now look for it down the inside of the loop. Nothing doing there for Decivest. They will have to try again, but that's starting to drop them back into the clutches of their teammate Emma Leckie, who's now joined the party at the front. Now 6 cars separated by only half a second each. Spicy also looking to get in on the action, is only 1.5 seconds back from this chasing pack of 6 cars. So it's all happening here, Toby. The Williams, your ex-team that you used to drive for, is doing well here, 5th and 6th, but looking very racy.
Yeah, definitely. If they have longer, they could be in a shout for the lower podium spots, having to fight the McLaren and the Alpine and the Ferrari for it. So it'll definitely be quite interesting.
I'm moving back up to the front, and that's where the race is going to be decided. Ultimately, M1 has pulled out a little bit of a gap on Mac T. We'll get on board with Mac T. Plenty of ERS left for Mac T. That's that yellow, bright yellow bar on Mac T's steering wheel. We can see, we were talking about rain earlier. It looks as though very little chance at the moment, 30% at the moment, so it might be coming a little bit later, but we can see blue skies above us as we start lap 5. Mac T desperately trying to get their first victory here in the Elite League. Mac T has won 3 races in the Ironman League and leads that championship currently. But the Elite League, a much shorter format, Ironman being 100%, the Elite League here being a 50% race. But perhaps Mac T is just conserving their battery and will go for one big push at the end. But they've got to be wary of their teammate SS7, who we saw had very strong pace in qualifying. M Dorling's not out of this. We have lost Sam Ross. So DNF for Sam Ross. Hopefully Sam will be back with us for the feature race, which will follow directly after this one. We're with SS7 at the moment as they follow their teammate of Maxime M. Dorling following close behind. Rio starting to settle down just a little bit in the midpoint in the sprint race. Perhaps it will just go crazy for the last couple of laps.
I think that's what's going to happen. I think someone's going to get tired of their position, and then they're going to overtake the person in front of them, and it's going to cause a chain reaction. I genuinely think that's what's going to happen. I think maybe around lap 8 or 9.
So Rio's got his crystal ball out, and sounds like somebody's putting some money on it as well. So that is SS7. Yeah, exactly. I think it was a whole pound coin, I think. So SS7 is looking to find a way past their teammate. They certainly don't want to cause a collision with their teammate here, but SS7 has been looking for a victory for some time. They've been on the podium in recent weeks, but no victory for them since season 1. So they will be desperate to win here at their home track. And SS7 showing some pace, and these drivers are not spreading out at all. Emilecki has dropped off the back of Decives a little, so they're outside the range of DRS, that 1 second range that these drivers will want to be in. Plenty of battery for SS7. And I want to see what M1 has been using their battery to stay ahead, but bear in mind, folks, M1 does not have the protection of DRS that the cars behind do have. So M1 Righty has to work ever so hard to try and keep in front of the cars behind. They will be dumping as much battery as they can at the very end, as Mac T is now making a look around the outside. SS7 going with them, wheel to wheel through the outside of Stowe there. What a fantastic move from Mac T, Rio.
That was pretty good. I'm going to be honest. Around the outside, I usually see people go down the inside because the person that they're overtaking has either gone wide or they're just letting them pass. But yeah, that was a really good move.
What a classic move around the outside at Stowe. The speed these cars carry into that corner, hold on to that, but also all credit to M1 Righty for holding on to their car and making sure that that was a clean and well executed pass by both drivers. Just brilliant racing from all of these drivers here in the sprint race. We're on lap 7, folks. I told you it would go quickly. SS7 now thinks, okay, if Mac T can do it, maybe I can. And Toby, do you think SS7 can find a way past our championship leader?
100%. There won't be much tyre difference though, because they're all on mediums, but it's definitely well and truly possible we can make it past.
And this is where we love the sprint races, because it is all down to the drivers. And SS7 has got onto the inside of M1 Righty just very briefly there. They think better of trying to go side by side through Maggots and Beckett's. That's always going to end in disaster. But maybe SS7 now thinks they can do it. Can they follow in Mac T's footsteps? SS7 now on the outside of M1 Righty. M1 won't want to lose 2 in the same place, but SS7 is holding on to it. But they go slightly wide, but they will have the inside into Vale. SS7 holding on to it. But no, M1 Righty retains second position. Great driving from all of these folks. M. Dorling now under pressure from Decives, who's still trying to find a way past the Ferrari driver. Not able to get through on them just yet. So M. Dorling holds on to 4th. But no, now Decives has the inside as we head in towards the loop. Then that's where the different positions of those corners help out our drivers in different ways. Allowed M. Dorling to stay in front because they had the inside for the loop and then into Aintree. So M. Dorling having a great battle with Decives as they hold on to 4th and 5th place respectively. We're on lap 8, penultimate lap of the sprint. Let's get back to M1 Righty, SS7 and Mac T. Mac T leading the race as we head through through Cops here, dragging M1 Righty with us. M1 will get closer and closer to Mac T as we go through these sequence of curves. The grandstands in front of us. On to the hangar straight. DRS coming for M1 Righty now. Maxi will have to defend like crazy going into Stowe. They hold the inside as M1 Righty looks to go around the outside. Do we see Maxi reappear? There they are. Maxi holds on to first place. And this, Rio, is some of the best driving I think I've seen from these drivers in a very long while, and giving us great entertainment.
Yeah, and I haven't clicked off the game once. It's really entertaining to watch, just like you said.
And it all comes down to this final lap here, with SS7 trying to find a way past M1 Righty. Mac T trying to hold on to that lead. M1 trying to get past Mac T. The battle between M. Dorling and Decives is not done. I apologise to all our other drivers who we've not been able to spend time with as much as we normally would like, because it's all happening at the front. M1 trying to find a way through on at Mac T into Brooklands. That hasn't worked out. That's allowed SS7 to get on the back of M1 Righty. SS7's really out of battery now though, so they've only really got... Oh, now here's going to be an interesting move by M1 Righty on the inside of Cops. SS7 goes with them, and SS7 moves up into second only briefly. Mac T's hang on to that on the outside. That battery for SS7, a real disadvantage, has allowed Mac T back through. Let's go up to Mac T. Mac T still does have some battery. M1 will be desperately defending into the final corner, main corner of Stowe. Mac T going round the outside this time. Can they make this one stick? It's wheel to wheel as we head down towards Vale. On the final corners of the sprint race, they touch wheels as they go through Vale and Club. M1 will now have the inside. Are we going to have M1 as the winner? Are we going to have Mac T as they come together and they both crash? They both crash. And the time screens have not changed yet. But as M1 Righty taken that as they crossed the line, I think that's what happened. M1 did cross the line first with Mac T in second as both of those cars came together. M. Dorling has benefited from all of that chaos, taking third spot on the podium. Wow, Rio, what an end to that race. I mean, they were pushing so hard, I guess it was inevitable there was going to be some kind of contact, but M1 comes home to win.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't prepared for them. I wasn't prepared for them to hit each other, but that was very entertaining on my part.
That is going to be one of the clips of season 3, if not the clip of season 3. M1 Righty is the winner in the sprint race. They were only fighting over 1 point, folks. That's how close it was. M1 Righty first, Mac T second, M. Dorling steals third, SS7 loses out, drops to fourth, Tesafes and Emelecki fifth and sixth, Spicy comes home in seventh, and Obo picks up the last point of the sprint. Roadrunner, we saw, had a connectivity issue, so they are going to be back, hopefully fully connected for the feature race. They finished in ninth, but sadly for them, outside the points. Sam Ross DNF'd sadly in that race, but hopefully Sam will be back. We saw they had a disconnect as well. I don't know, Pete, if you were able to get Sam back in. So I think SS7 is going to try and bring them back in if we cannot. Spicy has joined us briefly in the chat. Yeah, Spicy, focus on your racing. There could be some big points available for you today, and there's some incredible racing to come up. I'm going to need a lie down, I think, Toby, if the feature race is as dramatic as the sprint race.
It will be at the beginning and at the end. The middle may be slightly boring with 1 or 2 fights, but yeah.
It's never boring here, Toby. You should know that by now. Right, I'm going to ask you about victors now for the feature race. So, Rio, we've seen what happened in the sprint race there. Do you think M1 can do it in the feature, or are we going to see another victor?
I think he can do it in the feature. I mean, I think he's going to get in front. I think it's going to play out just like how the sprint did. He's going to get in front after a couple of laps. They're all going to have a battle, but I think the top couple of guys are going to have a long-lasting battle. I mean, to the end at least, starting from maybe just after start or mid-race.
The gloves are definitely off. We are just waiting for our drivers here to get ready out onto the grid. Toby, very quickly, because I don't know how long we've got, but who do you think will win this one?
any of the top 4 again. There's no certain person they could crash out like they did last race.
I can't get you to commit, can I, Toby? That's all right.
No.
I'm still thinking Mac T might do this. Based on what we saw there, they are going to work together. Yeah, I think Pete's just rightly said in my ear, they've got their teammate of SS7 to work with. I think that's really going to help the Mercedes drivers. I also wouldn't count out SS7 from a victory here. M1 Rice is going to have their work cut out, but boy, if it's as good as that sprint race, which is going to live long in the memory here on M1 Racing, I am very much looking forward to the feature. Remember, folks, M1 Righty is our reigning champion and also leader in the midway point of season 3, but not by much. Only about 20 or so points between them and Mac T in second. It's all to play for. We also haven't seen Roadrunner, who in qualified second. So we know they've got the pace. They're going to be starting further down the grid, of course. They'll be starting down there in 9th. But we can watch for the Red Bull of Roadrunner to come through as well. I think we have a slight delay just while we get Roadrunner and Sam Ross back into the game, which is what we're waiting for here. I haven't seen a new forecast come through. So unless Pete's got a better view than me, but I don't think it's saying anything different yet about weather. It's looking a bit more overcast here. So there's every possibility of a bit of rain. We are in the UK, so weather always unpredictable. Okay, we are going to go. 5 lights are on. All right, folks, let's go racing on round 6 of the GeForce Racing Elite League, the feature race here from Silverstone. And let's see if we can keep the entertainment going from the sprint race. Some early changes of position, it would seem. Well, SS7's trying to make that true alongside M. Dorling here. They're on the outside coming through the loop, and Spicy and Spicy and Decivest going wide, and we've got 3 wide here coming down the Wellington Straight. And we've got a ghosting Williams there. It's gone straight on. So Spicy battling with the Williams there is currently there in 7th place. So we have a yellow flag very briefly. That has dispersed. So we're with SS7 at the moment. And I think our drivers... Rio, do you think it will be true? Our drivers will just settle in now after the chaos of that sprint. And I think we may not be a little bit less aggressive in these early stages.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with that. I think I might have over predicted it just before the start. They're not going to go as hard. And I think they might wait until, the later stages, maybe wait until they've had their last pit stop. And, yeah.
And David T, your request is my command. So tyres are up for us all to see. And we were talking about during qualifying, M1 Righty used a hard medium strategy in the feature race last time out in Silverstone. Looks as though they're going for the same again this time. It's a 20% chance of rain currently, folks, so keep an eye on the skies. I think rain is what may disrupt that hard medium strategy. I genuinely think it is the best strategy longer term, but we shall see. Mac T is looking to do the same thing, but their teammate SS7 has decided to go on the mediums. Not surprising that the Mercedes team splitting their strategy there. M. Dorling also out on medium tyres, and their only other driver out on mediums is Spicy Nuts. Everyone else choosing to go on hards. And Toby, you're my strategy guy here. What would be your preferred strategy? Do you think hard mediums is the way to go?
Definitely hard mediums, because if the weather forecast does change, it will take time, so the medium runners might have to pit before then the rain comes down hard enough at the time when the hard runners have to pit. So even if it does rain, the hard will come out on top.
And I've shifted up to SS7, who's just got past their teammate of Mac T, moving up into second. And Mac T won't want to hold up SS7 at this very early stage of the race. We looks as though Rio has left us from the game, at least. Hopefully we'll get you back in there, Rio, pretty quickly. So SS7's moved up and is now going to hunt down M1 Righty. They will be able to drag their teammate of Mac T with them, with the benefit of DRS, which will now be enabled on lap 3. Let's get a bit further down the grid. Spicy's on the back of Decives, trying to use their medium tyres to get past the Williams. These hard runners, Toby, when do you think the hard runners are likely to pit?
I'm going to go lap 16.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably a reasonable guess. Give the other drivers 10 laps on whatever tyre they decide to use, or indeed if the rain does appear. Spicy has got through on Decives, moves up into 6th, now going to hunt down Obo 1.2 seconds further up the road. I'm going to get up to the front of the grid because SS7 has closed within half a second nearly of M1 Righty. Mac T hasn't yet been able to go with him, and M Dorling is getting onto the back of Mac T as well. Maybe let's get down to M Dorling. We'll ride on board with them as we head down towards Stowe. Mac T holding on to the inside of this. M Dorling will have stickier tyres at this point, but is unable to make the move through on Mac T. So Mac T holds on to 3rd. And SS7 is on to the back of M1 Righty. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 3. That is Sam Ross. Yeah, Sam Ross spinning on the exit of Stowe. Very easy to do if we go a bit too wide through there. Roadrunner is down there in 9th at the moment. So either they didn't have a good start or do still have some connection issues. So hopefully they will be getting underway. We are with SS7 as they go down the inside of M1 Righty into Brooklands. SS7 assumes the lead of the British Grand Prix on lap 4. And can they get away from M1 Righty? Rio, if you're still with me, do you think SS7 is actually going to be able to pull away from M1, or are they just going to drag them with them?
I don't think I can answer that because I've just been thrown into a lobby by myself, so I don't know what's going on.
Oh dear. Hopefully Pete can get you an invite back in to the right lobby, and yeah, Pete's on that right now. So I'll do my best to describe it to you. So SS7 is through on M1 Righty, moving into the lead of this race. M1 Righty now has DRS on the Mercedes. Will M1 try to get back in front? And I think they've cut across and clipped the front of SS7. And that caused SS7 to spin onto the inside of Stowe. That's dropped SS7 back into 4th now. So got to recover. So possibly a bit of a tight turning from M1 Righty has caused SS7 to spin there. So M1 Righty back in to the lead. M Dorling now has got 2nd place here. So M Dorling's got past Mac T on their medium tyres. Now on to lap 5. And Toby, I don't know if you saw that coming together between SS7 and M1 Righty, but that's dropped SS7 right back.
I didn't get a chance to see it. I've been watching the battle for 5th currently.
And it's happening everywhere, folks, as it always does. You're absolutely right. Obo on and Spicy. So Spicy goes down on the inside of that's into Brooklands there. Now coming around Luffield into Woodcote. So Spicy briefly getting ahead of the Ferrari, but having to drop back down. So strong defence there from Obo, but that brings Decives into play. We'll head back to the front of the race very shortly, but it's very tight between 5th, 6th and 7th now. Emelecki has 5.5 seconds back there in 8th, and probably hoping for a safety car if they could possibly get one, and that will bunch this pack up. But right now it is M1 Righty who leads the way, and this gaggle of 3 cars of Obo, Spicy Nuts. Well, we're going to go 3 wide into Stowe here. Very brave, but Spicy Nuts is the one to come out in the front of that. And so, Toby, if you've been watching that, that was a pretty decent advantage there for Spicy Nuts. Decives also coming through, but Obo the one to lose out.
Yeah, I got that from Obo's point of view. It was just like he had no pace, and he was just standing still compared to the other, and they just weren't around him.
And maybe that is a setup thing. So maybe there is Obo's just running slightly more downforce, seeing rain coming later on in the race. And maybe that's what maybe allowed the others past. I don't remember if Obo had DRS, but certainly the ones behind would have done. But Obo now in 7th. Going to get back to the front. M Dorling now has caught onto the back of M1 Righty. And as David C says in the chat, the DRS round here is incredibly powerful, particularly down the hangar straight. The cars are absolutely flat out down there, also downhill, so the car's picking up.
Has just crashed.
So we've got Sam Ross has, yes, we've got a yellow flag in Sector 1 there for Sam Ross. Sam back underway. So Sam's struggling on their return to the G-Force Racing League, and if they've been a bit out of practice, I'm not surprised. M. Dorling now, on those medium tyres, has managed to get onto the back of M1 Righty. Not sure if they can make a move on them yet. SS7 back there in 4th, recovering from their earlier spin coming through Stowe, and that either coming together or maybe these SS7 just lost it on their own. We'll look to the replays later to see about that. Mac T has got onto the back of M. Dorling also. So Mac T, Rio, I don't know if you're back into the game now and you're able to see this, but Mac T won't want to let these front two get away.
The game is giving Pete an error message, so he cannot send me an invite. But can you say that about Mac T again?
Yeah, so Mac T is in 3rd. They're just about 8/10 back from M. Dorling in 2nd, but they're trying to hold on to the front two of M1 and M. Dorling so that they can stay in contention for the win here. They're on those hard tyres, the same as M1, so they don't want M1 to get away.
I think what I reckon Mac T is doing what I like to call Sergio Perez. So he's saving the tyres, but he's also trying not to be overtaken. He's trying to stay up with the people he's going to battle with. So I think he's just saving the tyres for now and just waiting until like later stages.
Yeah, I think you may well be right, but the M1 is certainly putting a lot of pressure on their tyres right now, as M. Dorling puts a lot of pressure on M1 Righty. So M. Dorling looking pretty racy here around Silverstone, looking to take the lead of this race. Sam Ross is unfortunately the main person generating our yellow flags you see from time to time. So Sam really struggling here around Silverstone, but if they can hang on and stay on track and finish the race, they are going to get a point, because we've only got 10 drivers out here. But I told you folks, we don't need many drivers to give us some pretty incredible racing. So M. Dorling is sticking with our championship lead of M1 Righty. Mac T hanging back there, as Rio was suggesting, perhaps conserving those hard tyres and their battery, of course, enabling them to go after the leader of this race a little bit later on. We're on lap 8 of 26, still a long way for us to go here. SS7 starting to drop back a little bit further now. So, Toby, do you think SS7 might have picked up some damage?
That's possible. Yeah, definitely. He might have picked up damage. Probably floor or side pod if he's not gone into the pits to repair it.
The Desavess is now onto the back of SS7. So this day not quite working out for SS7. At the moment, at least. We still have plenty of time left to go. This race could easily come back to the Mercedes driver, but Desavess now fancies 4th place as we ride on board with Desavess. So we head down the hangar straight, and to demonstrate what David T was mentioning, just how powerful that DRS is, as Desavess blasts through into 4th, and we'll look to get after Mac T if they can. Looking at lap times here, the last lap time for Desavess was a 1:30.659 compared to a 1:30.7 for M1 Righty. So Desavess clearly lapping similar pace to the leaders, and they have moved up into 4th place. SS7 though able to stick with them. We do have another yellow flag, this time for Sam, as we see that on the start-finish straight. Let's get down to Obo, who's now reconvened their battle with Spicy Nuts. So Obo trying to get back that 6th place. Spicy, of course, on those medium tyres. And Rio, how long do you think mediums are going to go round here? We're on lap 9 now. Do you think they can go much longer?
The mediums, I think, I think that they can go fairly long. I think to around maybe like lap 15 or 16. I think something like that. If you're Mac T and you're preserving them, but yeah, I think they might be pitting soon, very soon.
We're with Obo as they come down the hangar straight now. They'll get the benefit of DRS. Not much battery left, but plenty of overtaking power there from the Ferrari to get past Spicy Nuts. So Obo moves, as they are struggling a little bit, I think, for grip coming through Stowe. No change in the weather forecast, folks, but it is still very overcast here. And I wonder if this might be helping out our hard runners. They'll certainly, these lower temperatures will help our hards to go slightly longer than otherwise they would. The mediums perhaps starting to go off, although SS7 has got past SFS. So SS7 has reassumed 4th place here. So Toby, SS7 not out of it yet.
No, definitely not. And data on those tyres, the data I've got, the mediums are about 40% wear and the hards are about 20% wear.
Right, so yeah, plenty of juice left in many of these tyres at this point. So Toby, do you envisage anyone actually going on to softs? Will they take hards a long way and then go to softs at the end, or do you want to get onto those that switch of tyres sooner rather than later?
It currently seems like there's quite a lot of pace difference between. There's not a lot of pace difference between the hards and the mediums anyway, looking up front, but those hards could go forever for quite a long time, and I would swap to soft because then you'll have better grip on a lower fuel load.
SFS uses the benefit of DRS to get past SS7, so continuing to switch 4th and 5th, but M. Dorling getting very close now as I've moved up to them on behind M1 Righty on lap 11. And hopefully the cameras will come back to us very shortly as the cars blast through of M1 Righty, M. Dorling and Mac T. The race starting to come to Mac T now. Sitting on the rear here of M. Dorling. M. Dorling still having plenty of pace though, and able to stay with M1 Righty 10 laps in on those medium tyres. Able to hang with our championship leader at the front. Mac T happy to sit back here, not having to give himself plenty of reaction time here, depending on what goes on ahead of them. But SS7 continuing to drop off the back of these, now 5, nearly 6 seconds back from their teammate. And I guess Rio, SS7 would probably love a safety car at some point to get them back on the this front battle for the top 3.
Yeah, I think that's probably one SF7 will be looking for, because, or he might be looking for a pit stop. He might be waiting for everyone to pit, and I'm going to be honest, it's a bit difficult to call who's going to pit first, because yeah, I don't know who's going to pit and don't know who's going to stay out, but yeah, it's difficult to call everything.
And just to update everyone who's watching on the stream, we wondered what was happening to Roadrunner. I've just gone down to Roadrunner. They are running on AI and they are ghosting. So sadly for us, we've lost Roadrunner and now just obviously lost Sam Ross as well. So Roadrunner is not in control of their car, sadly. So today has not been the day for Roadrunner. So let's get back to the front here with M1 Righty continuing to lead on lap 12. M. Dorling sticking with M1, but Mac T getting ever closer now, a couple of tenths closer to the Ferrari in front. M. Dorling using the benefit of DRS to stay in the slipstream of the Alpine in front of them. I'm going to get down to SS7 and SFS. This battle continues to play out between the Mercedes and the Williams. So SFS holding the inside of Luffield. SS7 trying to go the long way round. Very close between these two, but good driving as we come through Woodcote onto the National Pit Straight here. SS7 has the outside going into Cops, and SFS tucks in behind the Mercedes as we head down towards Maggots and Beckett's. Let's go to Obo and Spicy Nuts, who are now both within a second of the battle between SS7 and SFS. So it's going to get very tasty here very shortly between these 4 cars. So Spicy doing well to recover from a slightly challenging sprint race. We've got SFS trying to get past SS7 one more time. Up front, Obo seeing the opportunity. Let's get with SFS and SS7. They're going side by side into Vale. SFS takes the lead from SS7. SS7 back on the power, and it's bringing Oboe and Spicy Nuts into play. Rio, can you see the feed yet?
The what?
Can you see the race now? You got a view of the race, or are you still going on what we're saying?
So the game is being a bit of a nuisance right now. It's not allowing you want to send an invite to me. It's like giving Pete like a failed message, if you know what I mean.
Ah, that's really
But
frustrating.
I can see the stream.
Okay.
I can see the stream.
You'll be about 20-30 seconds behind us, I think, in terms of what's going on. But we've got a pretty incredible battle between SS7 and Decivest for 4th and 5th, who has now been joined by Oboe in 6th, literally 4/10 between Decivest and Oboe. And Spicy has pitted. So Spicy is the first to blink, getting off those medium tyres. And Toby, I guess we'll see what the undercut looks like here for Spicy. They'll be the first to tell us how powerful that is.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on those lap times because I'm curious myself. I want to see what it is.
And Spicy will want to go to the very end of the race, so they have given themselves at least a fighting chance. They've put it at the halfway mark pretty much, just a lap before that. As Decivest also goes in to the pits, it would seem. So, Rio, that's a bit early for Decivest on the hards, didn't you think? They've still got half of the race to go, and they're going to have to go on to mediums.
Yeah, to be honest, with Decivest, I think he could have waited well, maybe until like lap 16 or 17 after everyone else, so he can get as high as he can, get as fast as he can, and then pit, and then he'll be in a high position. But I think he might have a different strategy in mind.
It's going to certainly give them track position. You're absolutely right. I think that undercut will, and it's really how well those medium tyres go at the end of the race. Pete rightly just told me that, of course, current medium runners have all gone 13 laps also, so it's more than possible that could be done. SS7 is certainly taking their medium tyres quite a distance, and they might well be slightly resigned here to 4th place, but Oboe has something, will want to have some say in that. Decivest could potentially take it from you. You're right, Pete. If with the undercut works, it would be interesting to see how grippy those mediums are going to be come the end of this race. Of course, our drivers will have a lot lighter fuel loads in the second half of the race. The forecast has not changed. Air temperature looks to be, track temperature 28 degrees, so plenty cool enough to reduce the tyre wear. Oboe is not able to find a way through on SS7. They're certainly giving them a run for their money, and Decivest is now on the back of Spicy Nuts. So Spicy, who was also pitted around about lap 13 onto hard tyres, they're going to go to the end on those. Decivest now trying to get past Spicy Nuts. But Toby, this isn't necessarily playing into the hands of Decivest if they're battling with Spicy. They're going to get some DRS, of course, but Spicy is slowing them up here.
Definitely, as well as you've got the dirty air onto those younger medium tyres, which may need more nursing than the hard tyres to get to the end of the race.
Well, we'll keep an eye on the lap times. Fastest lap time so far is a 1:28.380 set by SS7, but the majority of lap times at the moment in the 1:30s. So, so it's still some pace to be had on newer tyres. Decivest's last lap, so their first lap on medium tyres was a that hasn't updated yet, so they haven't done a full lap yet. It would see that has counted at least on our timing screens. So we'll keep an eye on Decivest's times, but they are stuck behind Spicy Nuts here. And
Spicy did a 1:29 last lap.
Correcto, 1:29.395 for Spicy last time. So those hard tyres going okay for them. As the game has pitted Roadrunner. So SS7 picks up a speeding fine as they've got into the pits. Oboe has followed them in, so 5 seconds will be added on to SS7's time. So that's not worked out for SS7. The pit lane entry here comes up very, very quick. And both SS7, Rio, and Oboe have got on soft tyres. So these guys are going to be rapid for a couple of laps, but can they hold on to soft tyres for another 10 laps?
I think they'll be able to. I think they're going to do what McT was going to do, which is preserve them and leave them for later, basically.
Well, David T's mentioned in the chat he's predicting M. Dorling may well go for softs, and if they've got to sit in the they've been sitting, I should say, in the DRS of M1 Righty for quite some time here. They've been able to take those mediums quite away. I think we can see a number of drivers now. If they are going to come in, they will be going on to softs. McT as both M. Dorling and McT going in at the same time. So we came to them at the right time. McT locks up as they hit the pit entry speed line there. Speed limit line. So McT is going to be coming in. I think both of these drivers will be getting on to soft tyres. And Rio, this will give both of these drivers the opportunity of the overcut here. Or the undercut, I should say.
So McT, right?
Yeah, so McT actually, Rio, before you comment, McT has gone on to mediums. M. Dorling's gone on to softs on lap 17.
Yeah, that's I think that's going to be pretty interesting, actually. I don't know, is McT doing the undercut, did you say?
Well, we think both drivers, McT and M. Dorling, trying the undercut on M1 Righty. So they were only a second off the lead when they came in. But M1 has not yet pitted. They're still out there on hards.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, that makes sense. I think they might be secretly communicating. I think M. Dorling is going to go for M1 Righty and McT is going to go for M. Malecki. And I think they're both going to pit M1 and M. Malecki. They're both going to pit this lap. And I think we're going to see a four-way battle all the way to the finish. Well, big, bold prediction.
Yeah, well, I think you might be right. I'm with M1 now, and they are just going into the pits. So, leader pits on at lap 17. And so we'll keep an eye on what tyres they go on to. Emma Leckie is still out there, but they are coming in also. SS7 picks up a 3-second time penalty. It's going backwards for SS7 here as they try and find a way past on Spicy Nuts. But of course, SS7 is going to be very quick on softs. And M1 has gone on to softs, Rio. Mediums. So they don't want to take softs to the end. M1 wants mediums.
Yeah, I think he might be playing the. I think he might be doing the. He doesn't want to, use everything until the end. So I think he's gonna once again preserve the tires.
It's worked out. Sorry, Rio, to cut across you, but it's worked out for M. Dorling, the undercut. They have now got the lead of this race. They are 1.2 seconds ahead of M1 Righty. So it's really worked out. At this stage, at least, we're on lap 18 of 26. We've still got another 8 more laps to go after this one. But right now, M. Dorling leads the British Grand Prix here from Silverstone, looking to get their second victory of Season 3. So very strong performance from M. Dorling, but those soft tyres still have a way to go. M1 Righty, 1.5 seconds back in second. Then comes McT, also on medium tyres, is 1.3 seconds back from M1 Righty. That's our top 3. Decifest is now in fourth, but has SS7 charging behind them, looking to get back that fourth place. They've got lots of ground to make up here, SS7, particularly with 8 seconds worth of penalties to their name at this point, so they've got to get down the road. Toby, this is going to be tough for SS7.
Definitely, with how tight the field is, with that 8-second penalty, no matter where he is, he's going to be put down to P7, sorry.
And I can see Pete praising David T in the chat for his consistent, accurate predictions, and it's working out for you today, David. So M. Dorling is leading the way. They've got to try and build that lead a little bit more, though. 1.4 seconds might well disappear very, very quickly. SS7 has got past Decivest and is desperately trying to get away from the DRS of Decivest, nearly out to a second. And that will give SS7 some protection from the Williams driver. Obo now closing down on Decivest. And then comes Spicy Nuts, who has not let Obo go, but they are starting to drop out of DRS. But Spicy there in 7th. Emma Leckie back there, having just gone on to medium tyres in 8th. And we know we lost a Roadrunner running on AI there in 9th place. So can M1 get into the DRS of M Dorling? If M Dorling can hold them off for a few more laps, they could see victory in sight for them. Mac T here in 3rd is trying to get also within the range of DRS. Mac T does not have much battery left, so they've been pushing hard to try and get with M1 righty as quickly as they can. Vest has not let SS7 go, but Obo doesn't yet seem to be able to get on the back of the Williams. So the fight is going to come up the front here. M1 gradually closing in on M Dorling, Rio. And I don't know if you can see this on the view you have, but M1 just 1.2 seconds off of M Dorling. Can M Dorling hang on to this?
I think he will be able to hang on this because he's got the faster, fresher tires. Well, he's actually 1 lap down on M1 on tires, but I think he might have the pace unless M1 righty can pull something out the bag. I think he might win it.
Toby, how do you see it from here? Is M Dorling going to hold on, or is M1 righty going to come through?
M Dorling can definitely hold on. We
shall see. I think if they can manage that gap to M1 righty, just keep them within at an arm's length here, then I think they may just do it. We've got 6 more laps to go, folks. Round 6 here of the GeForce Racing Elite League as we enter the second half of what has been a pretty fantastic season so far. Mac T doesn't look as though they're going to get their first victory with the GeForce Racing Elite League, but they are still there in 3rd place. They don't seem to have the pace on those medium tyres that they had earlier on in the race. SS7 is holding off Decivest, but Decivest will also come into this now on those medium tyres. But those medium tyres are a little bit older than SS7 soft, so SS7 may also be able to hold on. Obo also trying to get within 1 second of Decivest. Looks to have had a pretty decent exit there out of the loop. So we'll stay with Obo here if they can just get within the DRS. But you see Decivest has DRS from SS7 in front of them. That's allowing them to stay beyond the Ferrari driver. M1 has now got into DRS of M Dorling. It's Rio. It's looking pretty hopeless here for M Dorling, I'm afraid. I think they could be a sitting duck and M1 will be through. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. M1 is very, very. He's on the move. I think he might well and truly pass him.
Move's happening now, Rio. Yeah, that move has just happened. So into Stowe on the inside. I think the first time we've seen a move on the inside into Stowe today. So M1 assumes the lead of this race, and M Dorling will hopefully look to hang on to that second. They've worked ever so hard to move up, took advantage of some other mishaps for other drivers earlier on, and M Dorling will at least be able to stay with them for a lap or two. They've only got another 4 more laps to do this in. Mac T, and that's the other thing, of course, hanging on to the rear end of M1 righty for a period of time could well, if they can do it, give them a last lap shot to try and get past M1 righty. M1 will be pushing hard here to try and get away from the Ferrari driver if they can, but M Dorling is not letting them right now. Let's get on board with M1, see what their battery is like. We've got about a third of battery left compared to M Dorling, who has a similar kind of amount. So if M Dorling can stay there, use DRS, there's still a shot for them. Down to Mac T, 2.3 seconds back from our leading 2. So Mac T pretty much nailed on for 3rd place here. We'll bring up the penalties for SS7, not wishing to rub it in for them, but they have 8 seconds. So, and that's looking dangerous for them Rio. So SS7 with 8 seconds, they could drop all the way down beyond. Well, they're at risk of being caught by Spicy here in 7th.
SS7. Oh, geez, 8 seconds penalty. I think he's going to be a bit frustrated about that because 8 seconds is a lot, and because these guys are a bit bunched up, I think he's going to try and get as far as he can. But as you said, I think he will end up in like 7th or 6th.
Could be that way, although Spicy is dropping off the pace a little bit now. Desaves probably knows they can't get after Mac T, so perhaps they don't need to challenge SS7 because of that penalty that SS7 has. So Desaves may well just hold station there in 5th on track, but will inherit 4th when our drivers come over the line. Back to the front of the race, folks. So M. Dorling is hanging on to the coattails of M1 Righty. So M1 has not been able to get away. And Toby, I thought, based on M1's previous performances, that they would scamper off. But M. Dorling's managed to hold on.
Yeah, M. Dorling's keeping him honest. And I don't know if M. Dorling's even pushing that hard and maybe just trying to save any leftover tyres on that carcass.
This is smart driving from M. Dorling. And potentially could be our driver of the day. I want to hear from you folks who are watching with us live on the stream. If you have a driver of the day in mind, put it in the chat. We would love to hear from you. And I'm going to get the thoughts of Rio, Toby and Pete when we get to the end of this race. Let us know when we get there if you agree with our decisions. But if you've got a driver of the day, we'd love to hear from you. We are on lap 24 now, 26. There's some 2 more to go. M. Dorling staying with M1 Righty. Mac T 3 seconds back. Then comes SS7. Followed by Desaves, then Obo, followed by Spicy Nuts. Good 8 seconds back from Obo now, Spicy. And Emelecki has got onto the back of Spicy. We'll go there before we resume our view of the front of this race. Emelecki trying to get past Spicy and get into 7th place here. More points for the Williams team if Emelecki can get past. They'll get DRS. Oh, as Emelecki goes a bit wide. It's unusual for Emelecki to finish a race without track limit penalties, and they might be on the course for getting one. But they've got DRS now right on the rear wing of the McLaren. Spicy goes a little bit deep into Brooklands. That gives the opportunity, at least, for Emelecki to look right at the outside of Luffield. And there is a 3-second penalty for Emelecki. Sorry, Emelecki, we were streaming you at the time it happened. And that is unfortunately going to be as Emelecki makes a bold look down the inside of Cops. That did not work out. So Emelecki may well get past. As we've got SS7 being overtaken by Desaves ahead of us. But I'm staying with Emelecki and Spicy Nuts here. Let's see if Emelecki can get past the McLaren on the hanger straight. So yeah, commentator's cursed, says David. Emelecki touching the back of Spicy into Stowe. And I think Emelecki's picked up some damage. Or they're going to go for fastest lap. They won't have enough laps, I don't think. So Emelecki is into the pits. Yeah, I don't. If Emelecki's going for fastest lap, they won't have enough time. So, or enough laps, I should say. So SS7 has been overtaken by Desavex. I'm going to get to the front of the grid, front of the race, because this is where it's all going to rest for the final lap of this race, round 6, the feature race after an epic and incredibly exciting sprint race. We've had another high quality race here from Silverstone, and M. Dorling looking to grab their 2nd victory. Yeah, David, I see a comment in the chat. I know it shows what the leader is on, but I'm wondering if that's going to give Emelecki enough time. Unless they have been lapped, as you might be suggesting, so that could be. Well, that may. As M. Dorling goes through. Sorry, as I'm trying to do maths in my head. M. Dorling goes through and takes the lead of this race on lap 25. They move ahead of M1 Righty, so the Ferrari takes the lead with one more lap to go. Rio, I don't know if you managed to see it. If you're 30 seconds behind us, look to Stowe and M. Dorling, but M. Dorling is now in the lead of this race. Can they hang on?
I've just seen the move now. I think he will be able to hang on because, as David said in the chat, his soft tires are coming back to him, and I think he's gonna be have a major battle with him.
We're going to see.
But I think he's gonna manage to hold on.
We're going to see now that M1 is going for a move on the Wellington Straight into Brooklands. This is going to switch places right to the very end. I think M. Dorling knew that was coming, but now they have advantage of DRS on the final stretch of track. So M. Dorling hanging on to the back of M1 Righty on the final lap of this race in Silverstone. Mac T is 2 seconds back. We just see in the distance there coming through Woodcote. So we are going to go through Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel one last time. As Emilecki starts their attempt at a fastest lap. So David T's prediction was absolutely right. 3 second time penalty for Obo. As we come down the Hanger Straight, is there going to be enough for M. Dorling as they go to look down the inside of Stowe? M. Dorling, M1 Righty goes a little bit deep. M. Dorling will have one last chance into Vale. Elbows out from the Alpine driver. M1 Righty looks as though they've done enough. They're going to hang on to come over the finish line here in Great Britain to win round 6 of the G-Force Racing Elite League. M. Dorling comes home in second. Mac T comes home in third. Desaves and SS7 fighting to the very last. SS7 comes over to finish on track in 6th, but gets demoted to 6th based on their penalties that they had to serve. And we're now waiting for Spicy Nuts to come over, who they finish in 7th. And then comes Emilecki. Will Emilecki get fastest lap on lap 26 here? I didn't think they'd have enough laps, but David was absolutely right. They have had enough. And they were purple in Sector 2 and in Sector 1. Emilecki going for fastest lap and an extra point, finishing here in 8th. As we come through the final corners, down into Vale. 127.956 is the fastest lap so far, held by SS7. Emilecki crosses the line and they get fastest lap. Well done, Emilecki. The time is not yet refreshed on my screen, so we will wait until the results come up. But we did see that flash up on the screen. Fastest lap for Emilecki, and Emilecki gets driver of the day. Ooh, take a breath, folks. What an incredible set of 2 races we've had from our drivers here today. Toby, I'm going to come to you first. Who's your driver of the day?
It's got to be M1.
M1 for Toby. Rio, who's your driver of the day?
I think my driver day is going to be the same as Toby. It's going to be M1 because, he's done a really good job at getting back at M. Dorling. So, yeah.
Pete, who's your driver of the day? M. Dorling for Pete, and I am going to go for M. Dorling as well. I think it's between those top 2, it had to be. And so a bit of a split decision here in the commentary box. David T is giving it to M. Dorling. If you're with us in on the stream, do let us know. Now, the way that this game shows us the results is the combined points from both the sprint and the feature. We'll put the full results up on our channel very shortly. M1 Righty gets the most points today, 33. Pretty big haul. M. Dorling, 24 points from both races. Mac T in third. Desaves, good haul of points for the Williams driver. SS7, after what was looking like a promising feature race for them, picks up 16 points today. 13 points for them. Obo there in 6th. Emilecki in 7th, and then that fastest lap at the end of the race. We at 127.064 for Emilecki. It was quick, nearly a second faster than anybody else had done. So really quick lap there from Emilecki. What a great race for us to have, and that set up the second half of the season wonderfully well. I'm going to take us back to our starting screen here, and let's bring up the drivers. Well, the driver standings are already there for us. So M1 Righty is going to extend their lead at the top of the championship with M. Dorling and their haul of points, who's going to move them certainly up into 4th place, with Charlie and Goat not with us this week. May not be quite enough to get in front of SS7, so SS7 will probably hold on to 3rd spot in the Drivers' Championship. Mac T will hang on to 2nd. And if we look at where we're going to be next week, folks, we are going to be in Hungary. And as David has been with us the whole race in the chat, we can confirm or deny whether or not David T will be joining us in Hungary, and we may see a Haas out on the track, maybe with Sam Ross in partnership with them, or maybe just the sole Haas of David T. Hopefully David will let us know in the chat. I know we've been looking forward to Hungary. I don't think we've competed around here in the GForce Racing Elite League, so very much looking forward to Hungary next week. I am just going to change. Yeah, David T is confirming that they may be a special appearance, cameo appearance indeed next week for, I suspect, David T. I'm just going to grab, folks, while we talk to... I better stop the recording here. I'm just going to want to do that first. I just want to put, folks, the recording of today's race up on the screen for you, particularly the sprint, because that was pretty incredible. There we go, folks. So I'm just bringing that up now. Let's get to the start of the feature race. Well, I talk the sprint race. Sorry, as I talk to Rio and Toby here in just a second. We would be about 30 odd minutes in. There we go. Okay, so sprint race replay up on your screen, folks, top right corner of your screen. Rio, I don't know how much you can remember of that, because there was so much that went on in that particular race, but any major highlights for you?
Probably the very, very entertaining 5-way battle in the sprint race.
Yeah, that was amazing. I know you remember you clipped some elements to go in our intro video for this season. I think we could probably do an entire reel off the back of this sprint race. There was so much going on from lap 1 all the way through to lap 9. Toby, any moments stick out for you in either sprint or the feature?
Well, we went 3 wide in the sprint. I can't remember. I think it was like Maggots or Beckers or near there.
Yep, you were right. And then there's we've seen on the stream here, that was Obo recovering from their spin on lap 1 and put them at major disadvantages. Then there was Spicy going wide as they came out of Stowe, and Bollards disappearing across the track, just like we saw with Max Verstappen in Miami last weekend. So it was all happening here. So we've got hopefully more of this to come next week in Hungary. Hungary's a tight track, doesn't always lend itself to overtaking, but this is where we'll see the strategy buffs out in force, working out what's the best tyre strategy to be on, and we will get overtaking next week, folks, particularly into turn 1 at the end of the main start-finish straight. But it will be, if this week is anything to go by, I almost wish we had a sprint race next week as well as a feature, because our drivers really played no holds barred in the sprint, but really well done to M1 Righty, to M Dorling and to Mac T for finishing up on the podium today. All right, I am going to give my voice a break, and we're going to say goodbye for now. Excuse me. We are going to be back, though, on Sunday for the Ironman. And so if you would like to come and watch me try and survive a 100% race with many of the folks that you see in the race here today, I am not as fast as these guys, but I'm certainly going to give it a good go. We were in Singapore last time out. We don't know where we're going to be this Sunday. We only find out 1 hour before the race, and that's going to be that race is going to take place at 8 p.m. UK time on Sunday. So if you'd like to join us for that, I'm going to be streaming from my point of view. Rio, if your technology is all set up, do you think you'll be able to make Ironman on Sunday?
I am not in the Ironman anymore because I don't think I'm able to wake up at the same time every 2 Sundays. It's very tiring.
Well, I totally understand.
So.
Yeah, I totally understand, Rio. It always amazes me how you manage to come and join us at the very wee early hours of the morning here on M1 Racing on a Wednesday. We're ever so grateful that you do. It's great to have your voice on the stream, but I totally understand why you would want to do that on the early hours of which would essentially be your Monday morning. So don't blame you at all. Toby, are you going to be in the Ironman Sunday?
Depends on how tired I am after DV.
Okay. Well, we'll see how that goes. So I will certainly be here. Pete won't be. I hope Pete continues to recover, but I look forward to welcoming him back. So Pete, thanks as always for helping me through today's race, and I hope you have a continued and speedy recovery. To Rio and to Toby, thanks so much for being with me this week. It's been good to have both your voices back on the stream. I forgot last week how much effort it took to commentate a soul race on your own, particularly around Texas. So it's really good to have you back. To our drivers for another brilliant round of racing with the GeForce Racing Elite League, and to all of you folks for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed today. It's why we do it, and hopefully share this fun with you all. We'll be back next week for round 7 in Hungary. And we'll see, will M1 Righty continue their winning streak? 2 in a row now and 3 races in total in Season 3. Will Mac T finally get that elusive win? Or will M1 and M Dorling be on the top step for their second victory? Can SS7 right some wrongs of today and perhaps be up there on the top step? You'll have to join us next week to find out. We'll be live 8 PM UK time next Wednesday for another round of the GeForce Racing Elite League. Until then, stay safe and we'll see you all very, very soon. Bye for now. Now we've got 3 cars wide. And Mac T's trying to get down the inside of M Dorling. They're going to do it. Great switch back from him, one there. All right, folks, let's go racing.